getting going. So there. Okay, so we're just standing, big breaths in, just getting grounded, getting ready for the class. Check in with your nervous system, see how you're doing. Are you tense? Are you anxious? Try to let all that go as you move. I'm bringing the arms overhead and just giving them a shape. And I'm going to move them down. And I'm just going to give a little wiggle, just giving you some options here to move. And as you're moving, don't try to tense. And I'm just going to wiggle one leg like a twist, coming up on my toe. Just getting a bit of movement, anything here. Okay, let's come to standing. Let's come and find your stance. Look down at your feet, make sure that they're hip width distance apart. Stay with your breathing, big breaths in. Try to relax the body, bring the body into ease now, okay? So feet hip width distance apart. Remember, a lot of people stand some version of this. We want to put the hips back. So just moving, thinking the weight of your belly and your pelvis, going back over your heels. We'll just roll the shoulders up and back, tucking the chin to elongate the neck and let the ribs stay nice and low. Now, while you're here, you might feel, since you got into it, you're all tense, like you're just kind of holding yourself. But let all that muscle go, and wherever your body falls at this point, let it be. Just don't go back to going forward. But once you got where you feel a little better, like a better stance for you, a better posture for you, just let that go now, all the tension. And just close your eyes, see how that feels for you. It may feel that you're falling backwards a little bit. So spread the toes nice and wide and feel your weight evenly distributed across like the three corners of your feet. But again, as soon as you do that, you may feel, oh, my pelvis is coming forward again. So just a little, usually it's just a little, put the pelvis back a little tiny bit over the heels. And just stand like this now for a couple breaths. So let the belly loose. Let the tension go in your face. Notice what's going on around the heart center. So are you feeling a bit tight here? Are you feeling like you're breathing shallow? We gotta let our nervous system know that it can relax, that it can relax in this different stance for you. So just getting a sense of how it feels to stand with a little bit of better posture. And just notice what's going on, because sometimes we just feel a little, our body just kind of, it's not used to it. So it's kind of like, oh, what's going on? And you kind of tense up a little bit. So just try to let it go. Don't lock out the knees. A couple big breaths in. You can open your eyes. Big breath in through the nose and let it out through the mouth. And now just standing here as you are, we're just going to let the arms come up and swing back. Okay, so just real arms up and let them swing back. And let them just swing. The weight of your arms are just going to let your arms just swing back and forth. And again, we'll bring them up and down. Up. And down. And as you come up, you inhale. And as you come back down, let out the big exhale. Up. Exhale down. Up. Exhale down. Now we're going to bring the right arm across the body. So we don't want any movement in the hips, okay? Just up. I mean, the only thing that will turn is a little bit in the ribs, okay? So just bringing the arm diagonal and down, same thing, letting it swing. I'm just like reminding myself to just kind of stay still. So with my left hand, I just have it on my ribs here. Just notice what happens. Up and down. Big breaths. Break breath in, up. And down. Now we're gonna go up diagonal. And now we're gonna do a little turn. So getting some nice mobility in the shoulder. Now, if you're standing here and you're feeling like you need to move a little bit, go ahead and move a little bit, okay? So if you wanna move. Just make sure, don't hang. Just be able to see your toes. So up, around, and down. So I'm gonna go up diagonal. Nothing is really moving here. So I'm just moving my arm up. My shoulder is not coming up to my ear. Just going around, up. If you can't get that high, just go if you can only get this high, that's as high as you're gonna go, okay? And then just come around, and as you come around, there's gonna be a little twist in the ribs, perhaps as you reach the arm back and you can feel the shoulder blade kind of come in. So you're like bringing the shoulder blade in and come around. Big inhale, come up, and then around. And here is where the ribs might, because you're gonna come back a little bit. This is not a full twist. This is just a little twist to get the arm back. And then you're reaching the arm back, nice, slow, feeling the shoulder blade come in towards the spine and then move down your back, okay? So another one of those, cross, up, and down. Let the two arms come down by your sides. Notice the difference. And now while we're here now, you can have the eyes closed if you want to open. We're gonna bring the left ear down to the left shoulder. Just a little bit of a neck stretch here. This might be good enough. You might want to extend the right arm with the palm facing up towards the ceiling. Take a breath here. And let down. And now we're going to come to the other side. The right ear down to the right shoulder. Come back to your easy breath. Let the belly relax. And you can extend the left arm if you wish, if that feels okay. Some big breaths. And one last breath and exhale. Come up. And so now we're going to move to the left arm. So just coming across and down for now. And across. You may notice the difference in mobility that you have in both arms. So cross. This arm is way less mobile than my right. Down. So just doing that a couple times. And just noticing how it feels, where you hit that boundary. Come down. Big breaths in. Exhale. And now we're going to come up and around. So up. And now I'm reaching. And as I reach back, my ribs might turn a little bit, but I'm really trying to get the shoulder blade down or in and down. Okay. Cross, up, back, and down. Do it again. Do it a couple more times. Inhale, reach back and feel the shoulder blade move down your back, maybe. And up. And like I said, if you only get this far, that's far enough. You're still working with the mobility you have, okay? Trying to stretch beyond that boundary and trying to get more, and trying to exceed that boundary. That boundaries are not going, you have to respect your boundary to get beyond the boundary, okay? So just one more time. Yes, and then shake that out. So we're working in the legs today, but I always like to mobilize the other parts that are not going to get as much movement. So we're just getting some movement in the front of the body, or I mean in the arms, in the upper part of the body before we begin. And now I want you to take the arms out, reach both of them back. Feel the shoulder blades coming together. And now bring the arms down and feeling the shoulder blades move down and flat on your back. Take the arms behind you, interlace the fingers. And then take, that might be enough. Pull the arms down towards the floor. That may be enough for you. If you can reach the arms out from your bum and take some breaths. Big inhales. Big exhales. And release. Take a breath. Again, arms nice and wide. Let's just move up, just noticing. So I'm pulling my arms back, but I'm just moving up, just like exploring the boundary here. So I'm just coming up. My shoulder blades are together. Oh, I'm getting this far before my shoulders want to come up and give me help, okay? So just I'm coming back down. And now I'm going to interlace the hands again, but with the other pinky on the bottom this time. Getting in my nice posture. Always, my chin tends to come out like a lot of other people, so just bringing the chin in so you feel the neck nice and long. And again. One more breath here. And exhale, give them a shake. Now nice and wide again, inhale. And then exhale, you're gonna cross at the elbows, bend at the elbows, bring the two backs of arms. I can bring them together, but let's create a little bit of resistance so the shoulder blades are down flat on your back, and you're just bringing the arms towards each other without them touching. So you really feel maybe a stretch around the shoulder blades. That might be, and this might be enough for you. If not, you can try to reach the fingers. Now, reaching the fingers up is not bringing the shoulders up to the ears. You're just reaching the arms. The movement is in the shoulders, but the shoulders are not coming up towards the ears. So take a couple breaths here. And release. Give that a shake. Again, we're just gonna bring the arms back this time and stretch them back. And then come forward, put the other elbow on the bottom. Shoulders away from the ears. And pushing the forearms together without them coming together. You'll know what I mean. I think there should be a bit of resistance happening there. Breathe, exhale, lift. And take a breath here. And release that. Okay, give it a little shake in the hips. I'm going to open the legs wide. Again, we don't want to bring forward. Just always think about the hips going back. So I'm just shaking the bum from side to side. Oh, and now I'm going to go from side a little bit more by coming up on my heels. Okay, knee is bent. So it's just, you know, when I come back to the side, I don't want my hip like jutting right out. So it's like, okay, just bringing some weight from side to side. Woo. Okay, and come up. We're just going to get right into some hip circles here. So we want to get some mobility around the hips because we're going to be coming into a lot of flexion and extension of the leg with some nice lunges, okay? So let's get some mobility in the hip. So we're gonna bring our weight onto the left leg. We don't want the hip to come out, okay? Even place your hand there to remind your hip to stay in, okay? So holding it in, we don't wanna be clenching anywhere. We're gonna try to move through this with as much ease as possible, okay? So keeping the knee in, we're gonna lift the knee. So find your two hip bones here. Your two hip bones are here. We are going to lift. We don't want lifting like this, okay? Just lift the knee. We'll just practice that, just lifting the knee first. You can bring the leg back. Lift the knee and then reach the foot back. Lift the knee. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just lifting the knee. See, my hip is not coming up, just lifting the knee, and I'm reaching back and coming on the toe. Lifting and reach back on the toe. And when I reach back, I'm thinking about this thigh coming up towards the ceiling, okay? Like the muscles are pushing up towards the ceiling. Okay, we have that. Maybe give it a rest. And we're gonna keep our hand here, remind the hips stay in. And when you do that, you'll notice that, yes, the pelvis does come a little bit off level, that's fine. It's more important is keeping that in. Don't lock out the knee, okay? A little tiny micro bend in the knee. So now we're gonna come up. You can stand next to a wall because this is not really a balancing pose, okay? We're gonna open the leg now and then bring the knee down towards the floor and close. Just take a break. So when we come up, putting the weight to the left, we're gonna come up and then we're going to open. So it's like this external rotation that we often do, right? This open. But as you can see, I'm not going all the way over to the side. I don't know if you can notice here better. I'm not opening very much. I'm not going past that boundary of mine, okay? So opening and then knee towards the floor and then close. Up, open, knee towards the floor, close. Up, open, knee towards the floor and close. And always take a break. As soon as your hip starts to jut out, that's your body telling you that you need to stop, take a break and come back, okay? So I'm just giving myself a little rest and I'm gonna smooth the hips from side to side and then start on the other side. So again, we'll start by just putting the weight in the right, lift the knee just as high as it can go without the pelvis jutting out or the hip going off to the side, up, and then reach back, thigh up towards the ceiling. So up, reach back, you're on your toe. So just like this, we're doing an extension here of the leg. Up, flexion, back, extension. Okay, up and back. And now we'll go right into the circles. So I'm just gonna get a little shake first, holding in the right leg, don't let the hip out, okay. Up, open, like external rotation in the leg, and then knee towards the floor and close. Up, open, knee towards the floor and close, coming off balance. And another thing, holding on to something may prevent the hip from coming out because you're trying to maintain your balance and sometimes the hip will just come out because you're just trying to balance. So please, if I was, let me see, I'm gonna hold on to this. So again, get yourself in a nice position, up, open, lower, down, up, external rotation, knee towards the floor, and down, hold in the hip, up, and down. Okay, shake that out, see how the hips feel. You probably notice that you're probably holding your breath when you're focusing, and I know talking for me is a little difficult, so I'm feeling a little out of breath myself. So I'm gonna just come back to the breath, remind my body that it does not have to go into action mode, okay? So remind it to relax, taking hand to my belly, hand to my chest. And taking another breath here. Sending some love to the hips and to the legs today, okay? Okay, getting right into it. So a squat. So when we come into our squats, we're gonna come into a wider leg and just come to a position that you feel like is good for your squat. So wherever your feet go, but please line them up. So your toes should be across. We don't want one in front of the other, okay? That's most important. And now before we go down, I want you to get that feeling of an external rotation in your legs. So we know external when we're sitting down, right? We go internal, external. Just then we did an external when we were opening. So that feeling of opening the leg bones in the hips is what we're going for here. So I want you to really feel like you're externally rotating your legs before you come down. And when you come down, before you come up, you want to push through the heels, okay? So we're going to come down, take a breath. And then exhale, come down, and only come as far as what's comfortable for you. That could be here, that could be here, could be lower. And I'm going to push myself up. So just make sure that you're in a good place for you. The bum is always going back, okay? I don't want to be hanging out over. The bum is always, so as you come down, the bum is going back. The rest of your body stays nice and still. We don't want any arching in the lower back, okay? So I'm really focusing on externally rotating those legs, and I'm coming down, and I'm pushing into the heels to come up. So do a few of those. Push and come up. So inhale as you're coming down, exhale as you push up. So inhale, exhale, come up. Inhale. Push out of the heels. You're going to notice a big difference. If you don't push out of the heels, you can kind of come down and come up, but really push to feel all of the glutes and your quads, everything, your big leg muscles pushing you up, okay? So come up. And now you're going to come down and you're going to stay. Just stay. Take a big breath. Push in the heels. Come up. Give that a shake. Pivot the feet together. Pivot, toes, heels, and shake it out. Okay. I'm going to put this here so I can see. Come to the top of your mat. I'm going to have the feet hip width distance apart, as always. And now push down, just like we did when we were doing the hip circles, push down into the left foot. And then you're going to bring the right knee up. We're going to step back into this lunge now. So as you bring your leg up, don't let the other hip come out, and you're going to step back into a very high lunge, okay? Okay, so let's just check in with our lunge here. So you're just like on two skis, so I just step back to a comfortable position in a lunge. Most important thing is the knee is over the ankle here, okay? That doesn't mean that you can't be here with the legs closer together. You're going to need to find a place that's comfortable for you, okay? So now when we're here, you'll notice that when you step back and you have your hands on your hip bones, one hip bone is going to go. You're going to kind of turn. This hip bone is going to come back, which is okay if that happens in your body, but you just don't want to be turning with it, okay? So coming back, really, you want your two hip bones forward, okay? So hip bone, they're going forward. They're not going like this. So plug this femur in, your big leg bone, plug it into your hip. So plug it in, and as you plug this one in, you'll feel like this one is coming forward. So you feel really stable in the hips. You may want to just stay here, or we're going to do some coming down, pushing out of that front foot and push you up. So think about the heel, pushing out of the heel of the front leg, okay? So you can come all the way down if you want, push up, that's going to be harder. You can come down, just little tiny ones if you want, little tiny. If you do little tiny, maybe you're doing a few more. Move with your breath. Inhale, come down. Exhale, push. Inhale, come down. Push out of that top leg, push. Come down. Take a breath. Push out of the heel, push, feeling it in your bum. Come down and push. Now we're going to take this back leg, we're going to spring up to the top and shake it out. Wiggle the hips, whatever you need to do. Take some breaths. Okay, starting on the other leg, I'm going to put the weight now into my right leg. So I like to get situated. I like to come back like a tripod first, getting all kind of settled. Two hip bones forward. So you can knee up and knee back. So again, without plugging in, my hips are going this way. Plug the femur in, hips forward, okay? Get that stance that you need. You may need to have to wiggle around a bit, knee over ankle. This may be enough for you today. Or come down, even little tiny. But when you come down, even if you're doing small, push out of this heel, okay? You want push. Or you can come down a little further, push out of the heel, push up. Try to breathe. Now when you're doing this, don't clench your face, don't clench your belly, don't clench your shoulders. All the energy, lots of strong energy going into this leg. Push out of the heel and come up. Push out of the heel and come up. And come down and come up. So just then I showed you I unbent this leg. That's not what we want to happen. We just want the back leg coming down, push out of the front. Come down, push out of the heel and come up. Take a break whenever you need it. Come down, and I'm just gonna hold it there for a breath. Take a breath. Exhale, push, and come up. Whew. Wiggle it out. So I've just come forward, like I'm gonna do squats again. And I'm just wiggling it. And guess what? We are doing squats again. So your legs, you can try a little bit wider, you can try a little bit shorter, okay? Up to you. You choose your adventure today. Main thing is though, the toes are lined up, okay? So again, we want to start with that external rotation. Externally rotate the legs, the thigh bones in the hip joints. Come down, come all the way. Come down, come as far as what's good for you, okay? And now push out of your heels and come up. Take a breath. Let it out. Relax everything, even your belly, okay? Take a breath in. External rotation, come down, hold. Okay, I don't want to sink down. I'm holding myself up. I'm not just collapsing here. Now push in the heels and come up. Take a breath. Come down, little ways. Let's come down just a short ways. Short, small, hold. Hold the external rotation. You can feel the legs externally rotating. Don't want your weight falling forward. Spread those toes if you can. Staying here. Exhale, push up, push out of the heels, nice and slow. Take a breath. We're gonna do it again. So inhale. Exhale, come down, maybe a little further, maybe not. No big deal. Take a breath. Exhale, push and come up. Don't lock out the knees here, okay? A little tiny bend in the knees. Chin tucked a little bit. We tend to come out. Take a breath. If you want to change your stance here, go ahead and do it. If you want to come a little closer, a little further out, go ahead. I'm going to stay where I am. And I'm going to try to come down a little tiny bit further. You don't have to. Come to where you last went, okay? So take a breath. Exhale, come down. Release the belly. And take a breath. And now I'm going to push out of my heels and come up. So when you come down really low, there's a real tendency to kind of hang, and you'll know the difference. You're kind of hanging in the ligaments. You don't want that, okay? I'm going to come down one more, take a breath. Exhale, come down wherever you want, and hold, hold. I'm pushing my legs. The knees might want to come in. Push them like there's something here. External rotation. Push the legs. Push them into your hands here. Push, push, push. Exhale, come up. You don't have to stay as long as me. You can take breaks. This is your body. You're in your own home. Do whatever you want, okay? You just want to not go beyond boundaries. You don't want anything to hurt or feel uncomfortable, okay? And you don't want to push yourself so hard that you're clenching everything in your body to just keep you there. That's not what we want. We want to be able to move the knees. We want to be down here. The body is used to it. The body is comfortable. You don't have to be clenching anywhere. It's just, please don't do that. So I'm just down again. I'm going to take another breath. Exhale, push out of the heels and push up. I can feel all the muscles in the bum pushing me up. Okay, so we're going to pivot the toes, heels, toes, heels. Give it a rest. Take some deep breaths in. So now with your feet about hip width distance apart, again, just make sure that your toes are level. You don't want one foot out in front of the other. We're just going to come up on the toes now, okay? So I'm just coming up into the toes, toes nice and wide. And when I come up, I'm just coming up on my toes. And just notice what happens in your body, because we tend to either come in or the legs, the feet come out. I want you to really think about pushing all the weight into your toe mounds. So these little spongy parts under your toes, just think about grounding down through all of those toe mounds and come up. And I'm just standing on my tippy toes here. And if you want, I mean, we're getting some nice balance, nice mobility into the ankles here. You can come down and come up again. Some nice work going on in the calves. If you want, you can bring the arms up, practice your balance here. Oh, and stretch up. Exhale, bring the hands or the arms down and the heels down. And shake that out. Okay, now we need our blocks. So we're gonna come into that low lunge now, okay? Get something for under your knee. So I'm gonna use my blanket. And we're gonna come into that high lunge, or that low lunge, sorry. What I might get you to do is just come down on your knees first. So coming down onto your knees. I'm hoping everybody is okay in a high lunge. Blocks are really good. You don't need blocks, but it does help a lot. So I'm kind of just standing here on my knees, and I'm gonna put my weight into my right thigh here, just like we did when we're standing. And I'm gonna bring the front foot up. And I'm gonna, my blocks are ready, and I'm gonna put them kind of underneath my shoulders or thereabouts. And I'm getting in this lunge, so getting a nice extension in the leg here. So I have my toe up, and this is, you're gonna find a place that's comfortable for you, okay? So what you always wanna remember is your 2 hip bones. You want them forward. Now this one is gonna go down, obviously, like go down. I just don't want them out to the side. So this hip bone obviously is gonna like kind of be a little bit more towards the floor. They're not gonna be completely up. So plug this femur of your front leg, plug it in. It helps to keep these forward, your hip bones. And I just extend this leg back to where it's comfortable, okay? I have my blocks underneath my arms. I'm not sinking into my blocks. I'm not putting all my weight into my blocks. I'm really pushing out of this front leg, okay? Now, the fun part. So no movement in the hips here. And I'm just gonna lift my toe off my blanket. You may not even notice that it's coming off, okay? You're just barely getting the knee off, and then you're putting it down. Take a breath. So you're lifting the knee without the pelvis moving. So lift the knee. Okay, this is the difference. If I lift the knee, see how my pelvis just came right up? Don't want that. With the pelvis, hold, take a breath, and release. I don't know about you, but I got a real sweat up here. Okay, so take a breath, inhale, exhale, bring the knee up just a little bit. You're kind of pushing the heel towards the wall behind you and come down. Change or get a little stretch if you want. One option is to come back and do this little runner stretch. So I'm just bringing my weight back, coming up on the heel of this foot. So getting a nice hamstring stretch here. So let's go ahead and do that. And again, just notice what happens to your hips. Are your hips moving? I'm pushing back, 2 hips moving forward, and then let's come down again. We'll just do a couple more of those. Okay, so toes are tucked. I'm plugged in nice and strong around the hips, the pelvis, and lift the knee just a little. Take a breath, pushing down through the front foot. Push, 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 and come down, and then lift. Whew. Come down, remember to breathe and not tense. Let the belly loose, let the face loose. Okay, again, and we'll lift the knee just a little. And come down, another little runner stretch here. So I'm just taking my weight, coming back. Toes going up towards the ceiling. Trying to keep the hips from coming out here to the right. And pulling back. Don't tear anything here, guys. Don't stretch too far. Now I'm just going to bring this leg back to the other leg, and I'm going to start on the other side. So taking the right leg up this time, getting situated, getting comfortable. Plug this leg in. Strong hips. Now, when I say plug in, I don't mean plug in and like hold it and like, you know, just plug it in, get it in the right position. Stay there. Take a breath. Exhale, lift the knee without the pelvis, just so small. And come down. Take a breath, exhale, lift. You can hold if you want, or just come right down. Take a breath. Again, lift. That thigh is coming up towards the ceiling, just like we did in the other lunges when I was saying that at the beginning of class. Come down. Couple more. Take a breath. Oh, I think I may have lifted my pelvis a little bit. Exhale, come down. Let's do a little hamstring stretch here. So a little runner stretch. So just bringing my weight. Now my weight's going to want to come over to the side. Even using your blocks for a bit of support. Coming back. Toes up towards the ceiling. Exhale, come back. Do a few more of these. So again, toes are tucked. Lift the knee. Just a little, it's barely coming off the blanket. I can still feel the blanket almost underneath my knee. That's how little I'm coming up, okay? Let's come up, come down. Take a breath, take a breather. Take a break. Okay, really getting a nice extension in that back leg. And come down. And a couple more. Breath in, exhale, come up. Come down. One more. And up. And come down. And now one more runner stretch here. So coming back. Take a breath. And then coming forward, I'm just bringing my other leg back here. I'm bringing my two knees together, bringing my heels together, bringing my toes together as close as possible. And I'm going to walk back to sit on my toes here. Taking a little break as we get this nice toe stretch, quick stretch. If you want, you can wiggle back and forth. Come back to our breath. Okay, so coming onto hands and knees here, but you don't have to. So we're just going to do a couple cat-cows. Cat-cows can be done sitting up. You can do a cat-cow here. So if you wanted to not come on hands and knees, you're not feeling that today, we can do a cat-cow here. So basically it's the same thing. You just, I'm starting kind of with the pelvis. So this is a cat-cow sitting down. I'm going to, so my pelvis is kind of tucked under here. I'm going to come and tilt it forward and move up, bringing my chest forward and through my shoulders. And then starting with the pelvis again, I'm just tucking it under, and I'm gonna roll, bring the head to the chest. And again, rolling up. So if you wanna do it in hands and knees, hands a bit underneath the shoulders, starting with the pelvis. Shoulder blades, I like to always hands and knees. I wrap the shoulders feeling very nice and strong in the shoulders. Ribs, you don't want to collapse in the lower back, remember. So ribs nice and flat against your front like you would be if you were standing up, basically. So I'm gonna start at the pelvis and I'm gonna bring that tailbone up to the sky, drop my belly down towards the floor. I'm kind of looking up. I'm not straining my neck to look up. I'm just gently looking up. I can see at the front of my mat. I'm kind of bringing my chest forward and starting at the pelvis again. I'm going to tuck the pelvis and move up my back nice and slow and start with the pelvis again. So just a few cat-cows. Go at your own pace. You can go slow or a little faster. Just get a little bit of movement in the spine. So moving with the breath. And one more. Okay, let's come down into a child's pose. So I'm going to open my legs wide, my knees wide, so that you come to about each side of the mat. I'm going to bring my toes together, and I'm going to come to sit back onto towards my heels. I'm going to outstretch my arms now. So outstretch, and then you can bring the head. You do not have to come all the way to the floor. It's really nice, guys, if we were to stay here in this child's pose, to please get something, a pillow, anything, and put under your head, okay? So, So just finding that child's pose where you can take a rest, come back to your breath, and it's a nice place to really focus on letting go. So letting all the tension go, and a place to really practice your breathing and letting the belly expand on your inhales. So take nice big inhales, expand the belly on the inhale. So the belly's just going to release and come out on the inhale. And just notice it receding back without any effort. It's just naturally going to recede back towards the spine. But a lot of times we breathe and we're holding and clenching our abdominal muscles as we breathe. So we're not allowing the muscles to relax and the belly to release. Okay, come back onto hands and knees. We are going to be coming onto, or don't come back onto your hands and knees, just come up out of your child's pose, and we're going to come on down to our backs now. So, still working on our legs, or the back side of our bodies. And we're going to come down. I'm putting a little pillow underneath my head, might be a good idea, or just a blanket. And I'm going to just see how this pillow is for me, actually. So I'm going to come down by just bringing my forearms down. I can't really see myself that well. Okay. So we're going to be practicing bridge, okay? So just have the feet comfortably underneath your knee somewhere. So when you come here, just find that spot that feels good for you, okay? Now, as we're here, we want our ribs, the back of our ribs, right, to be touching the floor, but you want to maintain this little arch underneath your back. It's your natural arch. So maybe what we should do is just find our hip bones. And I want you to play around with tilting your pelvis. So like tilt the pelvis up. So it's like okay. So you're tipping the pelvis up and then tipping the pelvis down. See how you can rock on your pelvis up, and you can feel the hip bones now move. And just get a sense of that, okay? Just tipping the pelvis up and tipping the pelvis down. Up, so your pelvis is moving back and forth like this. Hip bones coming up, like when you tuck under, the hip bones are coming like more up behind you. And then when I'm tilting down, kind of pointing down that way, right? So you just want to see what your range is in both ways. Tilting the pelvis now the other way. And now you're going to find that in between. And that's where we're going to stay. And another way to find that neutral pelvis is to find your two hip bones and find your pubic bone. And you kind of want that more on the same level, okay? It may not be perfect, but you just assign that you're too much if your pubic bone is pointing down and your hips are up. So, sorry, that's not explaining it that well. Basically finding our neutral pelvis now, so that place in between. There's still an arch in your lower back. Okay, what we're going to practice first is just coming up a little tiny bit into our bridge pose, okay? So I'm going to have my hands just on my sides, palms are face down. And I'm going to push the feet down into the floor right now, and I'm going to pull them as if I'm pulling. They're not going to move, but pull my feet towards my bum, okay? So push down, pull the feet towards your bum. See how you've just contracted all the muscles? Now, as you have that, I want you to maintain that arch in your back and push up. So what I like to do, I'm just coming up a little tiny bit. Look, I can just fit my hand there and come down, okay? And so as you come down, I don't want the back flattened on the floor. You're keeping that arch. So what I like to do is sometimes I like to put a finger on my bottom ribs and one kind of on my hips, and I want them to kind of stay together. And so I'm pushing up now a little further. I'm pulling the heels in. So all of my back side, backs of my legs, my glutes, my bum muscles are helping push up. And now as I come down, I'm bringing the hips and the ribs and everything down at the same time, and I'm keeping that arch in my lower back. So when I come down, I'm not flattening the back out like that, okay? So now push in the heels, pull the heels towards, feel the contraction, come up, come just as far as you want to come up. No need to come all the way up. I'm just pulling my legs, still feeling that contraction, pulling my heels towards my bum, and I'm holding here. You don't have to, you can come down, holding. And as I come down, I'm trying to bring my hips, my ribs down together and come down. Nice and slow. Notice what's going on with your feet. Notice what your feet are doing too. Try to keep them straight. Okay, if that's a forceful straight, put your feet where they need to be. Okay, don't force anything. So now I'm going to come up again. Push down, pull in, pull the heels towards the bum. Feel the contraction. Now lift. Like there's creases in your pants, and you may have creases in your pants. Lift so that you're going to uncrease your pants. Just think about that. Uncrease the pants. Lift up, hold if you can. Hold, keep that contraction, pull the heels in. Now relax the belly. And let the belly breathe. Or come up, come down. Still the contraction, but let the belly, let the face, let the shoulders go. Hold up, pull towards the bum. Now come down nice and slow. Hips, ribs together at the same time. Come all the way down. Whew, we're getting to the end and I still have more to do. Okay, let's go into the next one. I want you to lift just enough for you to get a hand under. So the same thing, contract, pull the heels towards. So I'm just going to lift a little tiny bit. The heels are pulled, I'm pulling towards my bum. And now what I'm going to try to do is lift one foot, just like half an inch off the floor and come down. Cool. Notice where you had to tent. Come down, release, relax. And just notice what happened to your body, okay? It's not to judge it. We probably audited, I swayed, everything. That's okay. Push down, push the heels towards your bum, get that contraction going. Just lift enough that you can fit a hand. You're hardly off the floor. Okay, see the other side. Pull. I'm going to lift the left leg. I'm pulling the right leg in and trying to lift the foot. And come down and release. Whew. And you may notice what I did is I think I lifted a little bit more just to get my foot off, okay? So again, ribs are touching, a little arch in the lower back. We don't want to lose the arch in the lower back. Push down, pull the heels towards the bum, lift up just enough, and see if you can just lift the foot. Maybe you're just keeping the toes on the ground, okay? But just lift the foot, just wiggling going on. Probably some tenseness going on in the shoulders and the jaw. Release and come down. Okay, let's go to the other side. Push, pull the heels towards the bum. The right leg now, it's turned on, and I'm going to try to lift the leg. Come down. Whew. And release. Now, let's bring our legs a little wider, our feet a little tiny bit wider. Same deal now, we're going to come up into a full bridge. So push the heels down, push them towards the bum, and lift. Lift, 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 lift. Come as far as you can, keeping those heels pulled towards your bum. Hold. And come down. Take a breath. Push, Pull the heels in. Exhale, come up. Hold, keeping the legs engaged. My legs are shaking a little bit. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. Let the belly out. All the action going into the bum, into the legs, pulling the heels. And exhale, come down. One more, maybe a little wider, or maybe go back wherever you want to be, okay? You can try it wider if you want. Push down, pull the heels in, take an inhale, and exhale, rise. Notice what's happening. Hold, 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 pull the heels in towards your body. Breath, relax the belly, let it poke it like mine. And exhale, pulling in as you're coming down all the way. And let the knees collapse towards each other. Let the arms out by their sides. And come back to your breath. You can release the legs if you want. Give them a little shake. Now, before we go into Shavasana, let's just bend the knees again and let's come into our figure four, okay? So my legs are bent at a comfortable place for me, and I'm gonna bring the right ankle over the left thigh. And I'm just gonna stay here for a second. I'm gonna rock a little bit to the left. I'm just coming a little bit again to the left and come back straight. And now here, this might be enough stretch for you, especially if you're at this point and your back is starting to flatten, stay where you are. Okay, you may even want to bring the leg out a little bit from your bum. If not, and if you can go lift that bottom leg up, and it's going to come up, so I can come up, and then eventually my back right now starts to flatten. That means I've gone too far. I just want to bring the leg up as far as it can, getting a nice stretch without the back flattening to the floor, okay? Take a breath here. If you need a strap or bring your arm, but if I bring my hand, see how my back is flattening? Don't want that, okay? And release. And we'll just do the other side, bring the ankle over, push the knee away from you. This might be enough for you guys, okay? If not, you can try coming up on the toe. That might be enough. Or you can bring the leg towards you. You don't want to tear anything here, guys, so just a nice stretch here. Breathe and enjoy. And then I'm going to bring the foot down, release the other. And guess what? It's time for Shavasana. It's time to rest. So hope you guys are feeling really good after that. Come into a relaxing place for you. And I'm going to sit up and walk you through, just a nice relaxation before you start your day today. So get comfy. If you need any movement though before, like if that just wasn't enough and you just need to move, go ahead, get some movement in there and then find your place of stillness. So letting your whole back body release into the earth. So you're laying here and just take a moment to relax your face. Set an intention to relax your body. And I just want you to notice all the parts of your back body that are touching the floor. Just get a sense of your back body from the back of your head all the way down, all those places touching the floor right now. And if you're laying on your back, I like having the palms up towards the ceilings just to kind of open the shoulders a little. So just notice the parts of your body touching the floor, seeing if you can sink a little deeper into the floor with every exhale. And now getting a sense of the front body. Just feel whatever it means to you, get a sense starting from the top of the head all the way down to your feet. And just getting a sense of the front body. With every breath, you're releasing more energy into the earth, becoming a witness of your thoughts. They're still there. It's almost impossible to shut your thoughts completely off. They're there. It's just that you're being an observer. So starting with your neck, I want you to just feel some ease in your throat and in your neck. Moving from the back of your neck up to your skull, all around your skull. Releasing the muscles around your skull and around your jaw. Around the forehead and the space between your eyes. Create a little space between the back teeth and perhaps part your lips, let your jaw hang or be disengaged. Staying with the breath, belly naturally rising and falling. Letting the shoulders release and relax. And letting that feeling move down the arms. Your arms are just heavy, but at the same time kind of light. Beginning at the back of the neck again. Releasing any tension there and moving down into your traps and into your shoulders, and try to release any bit of tension there. All around the shoulders, and then moving down the front of the body. Feeling open in the heart. Allowing the belly to be free and open and relaxed. The back body sinking into the floor. Letting the muscles release here. And let that feeling move all down around your pelvis. And envision all that musculature that we just worked in the glutes and in the legs, especially in the backs of the legs. Release and relax. Take this time to rest. Give thanks to your body for this, getting through this class, for being there for you, for not giving up. Release the front of the legs and right down into the kneecaps. The shins and the calves. The ankles, the heels and the feet. And as though you can unzipper to open up the heart. Do that. And let whatever comes into the heart come in. Whatever that means to you, whatever that feeling is for you. Open up to your heart, to yourself, perhaps to the day, people around you, the universe, whatever it means to open up your heart. And letting the belly sink towards your spine on an exhale and rise with your inhale. Whole body has been released energy. Staying still may be hard for some of us, but stay here. And whatever comes up for you, if you do find this hard, please don't judge yourself. It takes practice to feel comfortable in stillness. So important for our mind and body to be shown stillness. And slow down the mind in order to get some clarity. Time to listen to what your heart is telling you. Time to listen to ourselves. To notice our thoughts. Even if they're thoughts that we want to change. We need to come into stillness to recognize these things. Maybe feeling some appreciation here for yourself, for this morning, for starting your day in this way. And show yourself in your body some gratitude. I'm going to leave you here for as long as you need to stay, you stay. There is no rush. I hope you all have a wonderful Monday, and I will see you later this